Hi, welcome. My name is Courtney. You're watching Courtney's Reviews. Thank you all so much for the wonderful comments and great feedback that you've been giving me. I'm flattered. I'm deeply flattered. About like a week, 2 weeks ago, I only had 100 subscribers, and then it's just you guys have been blowing me up, so I really appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Thank you to all who take the time to share your thoughts and all the wonderful emails I've received. You guys are awesome, and so many wonderful comments. So I'm sorry if I haven't responded to you yet, but there's so many coming in, and I do read them all, and if I don't respond to you, I'm sorry. It's not that I didn't want to, it's just a lot. So in my last video, I mentioned that I had many ideas about that episode that I wasn't able to fit into my breakdown, which was already like 25 minutes long. And I had more ideas about where this might be headed. So here is the supplemental video. So let's get right into it. So I was rewatching Axe and Grinds, and something occurred to me when I was watching this scene. Vince Gilligan has said previously that he thinks coincidences in writing are lazy unless they're ultimately bad for the character. So I'll put up a screenshot that I took of an article called 10 Writing Tips from Vince Gilligan. And also on YouTube, there's an interview with the Writers Guild Foundation, where he also mentions this. I'll drop that in the description if you're interested in seeing that interview, and I'll also include the timestamp. But I heard it in a couple of different interviews. He's said this on several occasions, right? So coincidences are lazy writing and shouldn't be included unless it's ultimately bad for the character. So that's the caveat. Looking at this scene with Jimmy where he's in the liquor store and he sees the judge with the broken arm, that is a heck of a coincidence, isn't it? And ultimately, at least according to Vince Gilligan's own writing philosophy, it must be bad for the character. So on the surface, yes, it's bad for the characters. It's bad for the characters because it's a monkey wrench in their plans, right? Like everything, the photos that they've taken show that the judge showed the judge's arm. It's clearly not broken, right? So it's problematic. But ultimately, it's kind of good for them, as Jimmy points out when he's talking to Kim.
But hey, look at it this way. If I hadn't seen him, I mean, that really could have sunk us, right?
So as I said in my breakdown, like this is not going to end well for them. It's just not. And I think this is strong support that it's not going to end well, even if they're successful with their scheme that they're trying to pull off. Even if that works out, it's probably not going to end well for them, right? So there's, I think, the possibility that Howard gets seriously injured. I don't know if they'll actually kill Howard off, but I think it's possible that he could be really grievously injured. So a couple of people pointed out in the comments that Howard made a latte for his wife, but he himself was drinking tea. And that's a really great observation, right? So as Dr. Caldera tells Jimmy and Kim,
it depends on how used to caffeine you are. I mean, you're not going to be tripping balls, but it's going to feel like, 2 Red Bulls on an empty stomach.
So maybe Howard has a caffeine sensitivity, or maybe he just has a bad reaction to it. I mean, it's a drug. Maybe he goes into like cardiac arrest or something. I mean, there's a lot of different possibilities for how it could go wrong with Howard and how Howard could get seriously injured. Probably the biggest coincidence in Breaking Bad would be when Walt stops by the bar when he's out supposedly getting diapers for Holly, and he runs into Jane's dad, right? So he runs into Mr. Margolis, and it's that conversation that he has with him about his, junkie nephew, and not Mark, what's his name? I forget the guy's first name. Donald Margolis. Mark Margolis, of course, is Hector Salamanca. Don Margolis shares that he's got a daughter, and he says something like, family, what are you going to do? You can't like abandon them, or you have to support them, or something like that. And it's that conversation that that makes Walt go back to Jesse's apartment, and that's when he watches Jane overdose. It was a coincidence that on the surface was good for Walt, right? Like this solves the Jane problem, but ultimately was bad, right? It was a bad coincidence. Okay, so I cannot believe what an oversight that I forgot to discuss what I think might be happening with Lalo. But the most significant thing about that scene is one, well, Lalo is a total sociopath or psychopath, and two, he's injured.
Broke one of my ribs.
Right? So he was hit with the blunt side of the axe in the ribs, right? So he's got some cracked ribs. So he is he's hurt. So I have been speculating for a while now that he would reach out to Kim or Jimmy when he got back to Albuquerque for help. And I couldn't figure out like why he would do that or in what capacity he would use them, but it just made sense, right? To me, it makes sense to me that he would maybe perhaps reach out to them because they are his lawyers.
I mean, she is part of the legal team, right?
And he has no one he can trust in Albuquerque. Everyone thinks he's dead, and I think he probably wants to keep it that way. So now that he's hurt, I think there's even more reason for him to possibly reach out for help. The next episode is called Plan and Execution. I mean, I don't think I need to explain it. But you know, there's multiple meanings for execution. Like you can execute a plan, meaning like it works, like you follow your plan through. Obviously, execution, like killing. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens with all the different plans that have been put in place. So we have Kim and Jimmy's scheme that they're planning, but then you also have like what Gus is planning in the super lab. It'll be interesting to see if that plan goes through with his, pulling the electric cord or the extension cord, cutting the lights, and then being able to retrieve his gun in the extractor. As I speculated in my Cask of Amonti-Lalo video, I think there's opportunity for that plan to go awry, and I think there's opportunity for Lalo to escape. And if he does escape, I think he's going for Kim Wexler. So as I said at the end of my breakdown of Axe and Grind, I think some of the conversation between Kim's mother and the store manager about calling the police, etc., could be foreshadowing, right?
She's going to wish we called the police.
I think it's possible that Kim's gonna wish that they called the police, right? Because there could be a fate worse than police there. So another thing, I mean, I've also heard people talking about maybe Howard is, onto them. I mean, like more onto them than we're aware. Like maybe he knows that, they're planting evidence, and maybe that the PI is bogus, or who knows. So, I mean, Howard could show them up, but I can't imagine that Kim would get in trouble and not Jimmy for that scheme, because we know that Jimmy is in good standing with the New Mexico Bar Association because he practices, right, as Saul Goodman in Breaking Bad. So I don't think they're going to get busted for that. I think something else bad is going to happen. So the mid-season finale, we've been warned by Peter Gould himself, is going to be painful. Painful in what ways? Who knows? Painful insofar that a character dies, painful just because it's going to be a really horrific cliffhanger that lasts for 6 long weeks. But I will be here making videos, so I have a couple of ideas in the works for other things I wanted to talk about and just haven't had the time. I work full time and I make these videos mostly at night and on weekends when I'm able to steal an hour here and there. But I'll be obviously putting out a breakdown for Monday's episode. And I again thank you for your support and for your feedback and for your comments. And if you're not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Join us. I'll see you all next time.